Okay, so in our last videos, we talked about having a Q&A on this go around. So we've got some questions and we also have the answers. And the folks who ask these questions will be getting a bottle of red line wine from Adobe Road Winery. And I've got my glass of wine. It's been a long day here. So let's go ahead and get to it. We'll start with my favorite question that we got. This is from Tony Abad at Willis Management Group. He asked, if seal coat is needed to preserve an asphalt surface, why don't cities and states use it on roads and highways? So this is a great question. Without getting into too much technical detail, the main reason is asphalt is a flexible pavement surface. So the more traffic it gets, now as long as it's not really heavy traffic like garbage trucks, but just vehicle traffic with a rolling and kneading action of tires, it's actually very good for asphalt. It helps knead those oils through the surface and help preserve it and kind of combats the effects of oxidation and aging. So as you know, if you drive on the freeway, you drive on city streets, very high traffic volume, and that can really do a number on the structure. But some surfaces are designed such and get enough traffic that they don't need any surface preservation just because of the kneading action of the tires. Now, parking lots and private roadways are totally a different story. They get very little traffic. Certainly not the volume that's needed to preserve the surface. So seal coats, slurry seals, any surface treatment is going to help preserve and protect that top layer and combat the effects of aging a little bit. In addition, as we all know, cities and states are not quite as concerned as about aesthetics as private property owners are. So seal coats, slurry seals, they have a aesthetic benefit in addition to the functional benefits. So even when surfaces don't necessarily need preservation functionally to extend the life or maximize the life of the asphalt, the aesthetic benefits of doing a surface treatment are often enough that folks are willing to spend the money to make those improvements. Okay, our next question is from Robert Reed at Community Management Services. So Robert will be also getting a delicious bottle of red line wine. So Robert asks, how long is a seal coat expected to last and how many seal coats are recommended until it is time to dig up and put in new asphalt? So, sorry, the answer always is it depends, but I'll elaborate a little bit. It depends. But in general, seal coats are done every 5, 6, 7 years. When the seal coat kind of needs to be redone is a highly subjective thing. Sometimes it's just going back to what we were talking about before, just aesthetically when it doesn't look great anymore. Sometimes folks are willing to let them go a little bit longer until they really need that functional improvement rather than just an aesthetic improvement. But on average, they're done around every 5 years, and most asphalt lasts about 30 years. So you figure from new, there's maybe 5 applications or something like that between when a new first surface is placed and when it's rehabilitated. So generally about 5 seal coats in there. Although I've seen seal coats last as long as 10 years given the kind of right traffic and the heavy application and the stars aligning and all those things. So generally 5 times. Life expectancy of a seal coat is about 5 years, and a pavement surface is generally going to last somewhere around 30 years. And our third and final question is from Tony Gutierrez with Action Property Management. Tony asks, what factors determine if asphalt is a better choice over concrete? So there's a lot of them, but we'll touch on the most common ones here. Generally, if something was built with asphalt, it's going to be replaced with asphalt. If something was built with concrete, it's going to be replaced with concrete. But if we have a choice, say a small residential driveway, at least here in Northern California, generally those are concrete because there may be 600 square feet, something like that on average. And the cost for asphalt and concrete at that square footage from new is about the same. So because concrete doesn't really need any maintenance, it's more resilient to water flow, staining, and so on, and has a longer life expectancy. Given that they're about the same cost, concrete's the obvious answer. For flow lines, curbs, these things, they're structural, they're resilient to water flow again, so concrete is the better choice. For roadways and large parking lots, asphalt is almost always the answer because it's far less expensive when it's placed in large volumes. And that mostly has to do with the fact that even though the material costs are very similar, you know, inch for inch, pound for pound, concrete and asphalt, they're very, very close in cost. Asphalt placement is far more efficient in terms of the equipment and how much production can be done and the minimal amount of labor that's needed to place 1 square foot of asphalt versus 1 square foot of concrete. So for very large roadways and parking lots, you almost always see them in asphalt, and that's because they're just a lot cheaper. They're a lot more maintainable. You can patch them, seal coat them, and they almost look brand new. Concrete is much more laborious and time consuming to patch and repair, to rip out. So hopefully that answers the question. There's a lot of factors involved, but mostly it comes down to cost, and usually then second is just going to be the functionality of the material. So we'll dig in a little bit more in some future videos about what makes up concrete and asphalt and how they're strikingly similar and how they can be significantly different as well. But on the surface anyways, I hope that answers the question. So thanks for everybody who asked questions this week, and we'll be getting those bottles of wine out, and enjoy. Thanks for watching.